I'll be busy taking care of the baby soon. I won't be able to come home for a while, so don't miss me too much, okay? My husband's words cut through me as he packed his things. I stood there, numb, watching him. He seemed unaffected by my feelings, casually laughing and humming as he asked about our son's baby bottle. Except the baby he referred to wasn't ours. It was the child he had with his younger mistress. Yes, this man had abandoned me and our son. My name is Linda, a 42-year-old caregiver. I work part-time, so my income isn't great, but I'm currently studying to become a certified nursing assistant. My family consists of my husband and our son. My husband is 45 years old and works as a manager in a reasonably large company. He has been there for many years. He used to have a reputation as a womanizer, causing me countless tears. I confronted him multiple times, asking who mattered more to him, me or the other women. But despite the pain, I never left him because I loved him deeply. After our son was born, my husband settled into his job, and I balanced work, housekeeping, and parenting as time flew by. Robert, our son, turns 18 this month. He's worked hard through a rebellious phase and is now on the brink of high school graduation, striving to get into his dream college. The thought of him leaving home worries us as parents, though he's grown into a tall, handsome young man poised on the threshold of adulthood. As Robert focused on his college exams, there were evenings when my husband came home late. Initially, I attributed it to his demanding job, but unanswered calls and messages fueled my suspicions. Evidence accumulated, perfume on his suits, stray hairs in the car, that left me doubting, yet I lacked the courage to confront him. Then, during a family dinner one evening, my husband, flushed from alcohol, remarked, "Robert has really grown up, hasn't he? I still feel like a kid sometimes. But you've grown so much taller since middle school, and your face has matured, hasn't it?" Robert, visibly embarrassed by the attention, awkwardly scratched his head. My husband glanced at us casually and remarked, "So you don't need your old man anymore, huh?" "What do you mean?" I was taken aback by the sudden shift in conversation, exchanging puzzled looks with Robert. My husband finished his beer in one gulp and dropped the bombshell. "Well, the thing is, my girlfriend is pregnant." The room fell silent. Girlfriend? Pregnant? It was incomprehensible. I let out a nervous laugh. "You must be joking. You've had too much to drink." "No, it's true. I've been seeing her for a year now. I intended to keep it quiet, but it looks like we're expecting a baby." I stood up abruptly, shielding Robert's ears. He stared at his father, bewildered. "Robert, please go back to your room." "What? This might be the last time we're all together." I haven't had much chance to talk to Robert lately. Let him stay a bit longer, my husband said casually. "How can you say that? I don't understand how you think it's appropriate for our son to hear this." "And what do you mean by the last time?" Anger surged through me, and I raised my voice. In a protective reflex, I pulled Robert close in a tight hug. He's already stressed with his upcoming exams. I don't want him involved in this kind of conversation. My husband remained unfazed, continuing, "Well, I won't be coming home for a while because I'll be helping her raise the baby, you know." My head spun at his words. So he had a mistress and was expecting a baby with her, dropping this bombshell on us only as the birth approached. I couldn't comprehend my husband's actions. I felt like everything was unraveling. Over our more than 20 years together, there were times I resented him, but I always found solace in seeing him as a devoted father to Robert. Did he truly desire his mistress so intensely that he was willing to discard all the trust and years we had built together? "Well, that's how it is. I'm going to her place this weekend, so I'd better start getting ready," he announced, beginning to pack his things into a backpack. I stood there, feeling like a hole had been torn in my heart. "Hey, do we still have the baby bottles Robert used?" Despite the somber mood, my husband was smiling. I shook my head silently. There was one thing left, not saved for him and his mistress, but for when Robert grew up, so my husband and I could reminisce about our parenting journey, praising each other and sharing memories. My husband muttered something about it being a waste and headed to the bedroom to organize his clothes. Did he just abandon us? Robert whispered tearfully, and I couldn't find the words to deny. 3 days later, my husband left for his mistress's place. When I confronted him, crying that I had once believed in him, he replied, "I always wanted another child, but you were always so busy, weren't you?" And while we were caught up in all that, we just kept getting older. I knew we couldn't have another one. I forced a laugh, the pain cutting deep. Robert held back tears, leering at his father while gently rubbing my back. What's with that look? By the time I'm back, I won't be here anymore. Are you okay with that? You're an adult now, right? You've lost that childlike charm and aren't as cute anymore. I've heard my girlfriend's baby is a girl, so I might end up liking her more than you. Robert lunged at his father. He flinched momentarily, but then met Robert's glare head-on. She's so young and cute, unlike you guys. I'm really looking forward to our future together. Yeah, I get it now. You're the worst dad. At least now Mom and I know where we stand. I joined Robert, finding my voice. Know that there won't be a home for you to return to anymore. My husband, his expression annoyed, shrugged off Robert's grip and departed without a farewell. Robert stood by me, supporting me as I felt my strength wane. We didn't sit idle after learning about my husband's mistress. We had already begun planning our next steps. About 2 weeks later, my husband called. He chuckled, mentioning how smoothly things were going with raising their daughter, who he described as adorable. He even sent a photo of his mistress holding the child, igniting a simmering rage within me. Unknowingly, he provided us with evidence. I saved the photo and began recording our conversation, amazed at his recklessness. Then, right on cue, his mistress took the phone and started talking. Are you the wife? I'm sorry I've taken your husband all for myself, but we have a child together now, so it can't be helped, right? Well, yes, raising a child can be tough. I'm glad you understand. When your husband first mentioned you, I thought you were just a weak person who couldn't do anything but cry. But that's clearly not who you are. So that's what he had been saying about me to his mistress. Half a year ago, those words would have cut deeply, but now they left me numb. My love for my husband had long since faded. You knew my husband was married with a child, and yet you pursued him anyway. I didn't know at first. He never wore his wedding ring when we were together, so when he finally told me, it was a surprise. But it didn't change my feelings for him. We're meant to be together forever. It's a good thing they're both so clueless. This would serve as evidence that the mistress knew my husband was married and still continued their relationship. While her words were infuriating, the potential payoff was significant. It would have been more challenging to exact revenge if she appeared genuinely remorseful and troubled by the unplanned child. I wished them both well and hung up. 2 years had passed since that day. Then I saw that familiar number on my phone screen. Taking a deep breath, I answered. Hey, how have you been? I'm on my way home now, so make sure the house is clean, okay? Didn't I tell you there's no home for you to return to? What are you trying to prove? My husband sounded exasperated. Okay, I admit leaving abruptly was wrong, but I can't abandon her to raise the child alone, can I? You're a mother too, you should understand. He still doesn't get it. He hasn't changed since that day. Maybe that's for the best. It confirms that Robert and I made the right choice in taking care of ourselves. I think you misunderstand. There literally is no house for you to return to. I sold it. I heard my husband gasp on the other end of the line. 2 years ago, that day, I made a decision to confront my oblivious husband with everything that had transpired. My son and I grappled with the daunting task of removing him from our lives for good. Amidst it all, I realized the risk of him wanting to return and resume where he left off. After everything he had done and said, living with him seemed impossible. Even our once shared home felt tainted to me now. When I voiced my turmoil, Robert calmly posed the question. Isn't this house in your mom's name? Yes, it's the house I inherited from my grandfather. We renovated it and moved in. In that case, why don't we sell it? Robert's bold suggestion took me by surprise, but selling the house meant my husband could never return to it. The proceeds would also fund legal assistance and a private investigator for the divorce. Robert had been saving diligently, ensuring we could start anew without financial worries. I agreed to Robert's plan and began preparations. Robert intensified his studies, earning acceptance to a distant college, while I pursued certification as a nursing assistant. With higher earning potential, I could work anywhere. Thus, we sold the house. We had obtained permission from my grandfather, who had taken on a parental role after my parents passed away. When I explained the situation, he was outraged. My grandparents contributed a portion of their savings, urging us to use it for a fresh start. Despite my hesitation, they insisting there was no reason for them to hold onto the money at their age, and pressed an envelope filled with cash into my hands. Their kindness moved me to tears. And so, we started our new life in the state where Robert's college was located. Given your lack of interest in our lives during Robert's exam preparations, you probably have no idea where we reside now. You can't bluff me like that. My husband's voice rose in panic. If you think it's a lie, you can come and see for yourself. We're busy. We're hanging up now. Hey, wait. At that moment, Robert, who had been quietly observing, took the phone from me. Dad, remember what you said? That we don't need you anymore. We agree. We don't need a father who abandons us for his mistress. With a steely tone, Robert's words brought my husband to tears. Please wait. I know I messed up, but don't abandon me. Taking the phone back from Robert, I prepared to deliver the final blow. You may not agree to a divorce, but we're moving forward with the preparations regardless. And did you know that alimony payments for fathering the child during our marriage can be nearly double the standard amount? You better start preparing for that. Without waiting for his response, I ended the call. Immediately, my husband tried calling back, but I declined. I refused any further stress. From now on, he would bear the financial burden of raising a child with his mistress and paying me alimony. My husband lacked real skills to support himself, and I had always cleaned up after him. He left dirty dishes and scattered laundry, rarely helping with household chores and only occasionally taking out the trash, boasting when he did. I couldn't envision him and his young lover enduring for long. After speaking my mind, a sense of relief washes over me and I take a deep breath. Robert looks concerned. I'm okay. I said what needed to be said, and I feel much better now. Let's go out and have something you enjoy today, I say, mustering a smile despite my weariness. He still appears worried but tries to appear cheerful for my sake. I find my sons debating between steak, sushi, or pizza utterly endearing. We face challenges, but let's create more happy memories together. This new place may be unfamiliar, but Robert and I will manage just fine. I need to help him become more independent. When we moved in together, he mentioned how glad he was to still enjoy my home-cooked meals since he's not great at cooking. But moving forward, whether he has friends over or even a girlfriend, I'll need to make space for them too. Robert is such a caring child, always concerned about me. I worry his girlfriend might eventually find it overwhelming. Teaching him to cook will be essential for his independence, adding to my already busy schedule. With my husband gone, I no longer feel lonely. Thinking about our future, I laugh, feeling refreshed. Knowing he's completely out of my life allows me to live with a clear conscience.